I think the first time I would have heard Tonight's the Night, the album, was when I was 11. Because I started playing guitar and writing songs when I was 11, and um, we, my brother and I bought all of Neil Young's albums on cassette, um, which unfortunately we've kind of played out. But I was around 11 years old, and those kinds of songs, when you're learning how to play guitar, you can, you know, kind of plod along and strum through them, and they're good songs to learn how to play guitar on, and simple enough for a young, know-nothing musical mind to wrap his head around. I think if you look at Neil Young's work since he began, a lot of people will criticize him for inconsistency. Um, he'll do an album that sells millions, like After the Gold Rush, and then 10 years later or whatever, he'll do a computer music album like Trance, which was him playing around with synthesizers. And I think if you want to be a great artist, you have to put yourself out on the edge of what you're doing, and you have to be willing to follow your instinct wherever it takes you. And a lot of the times that's going to mean horrible failure, but a lot of the times it's going to mean greater success than if you had taken the low road the whole way through your career. And so Tonight's the Night is I think the example of Neil Young following his instinct and it really paying off. I'm not a fan of artists who just have a string of successes throughout their lives in this kind of monotone of excellence, if you will. A band like, let's say, REM or U2 doesn't interest me if, by the fact that they have a score of critically lauded albums. If you're really going to put yourself on the edge, you're going to fail a lot of the time, but that's all right. I think that after having made a few albums of my own, listening to Tonight's the Night after making my own albums is really a learning experience, because you see how much Neil Young's recording process is really about documenting songs or capturing a group of people making music in a place at a certain time. And that's the way I try and make albums now, whereas when I started, when I was like 18 or 19, I would think of, making an album like layering a sandwich or something and putting on tracks and tracks and making that sound good. But now I'm much more interested in capturing things, and Tonight's the Night is a perfect album for capturing a sound.